much information.
Yeah. I've had the benefit of not having to be part of these school parent group chats, which I have heard from Jennifer Welch and Angie Pumps on I've Had It are nightmares. So this was my first experience with the parent group chat, and boy almighty, are they correct.
I want to hear.
It completely devolved into nonsense. So first we had a parent.
First of all, how many texts are you getting then? Or how many kids?
Yeah,
it's just like
thousands. I would wake up and I would like sort of lazily look at it at like, 9 a.m. and already there were, dozens. 60, 80, whatever texts. So it started with one parent being pissed off that the host family that her child was staying with wasn't doing enough with her. And they had been there for literally less than 36 hours. And she's going on and on and on about it.
Her kid's problem too, right? Even if true.
Exactly.
Right? Like why are you bringing that up to the entire group?
This is a group chat. It's not fucking group therapy. And then another parent gets pissed off because the chaperones had told the students not to use their phones while they were in transit, like on the metro and while they're walking from place to place. So then a parent gets insanely pissed off that her kids may not be able to use her phone to take pictures. The chaperone's not taking pictures. She wants fucking pictures. She needs pictures. And it is going on. It was 3 hours of text messages. And so I was just like, I beg you to stop. I beg you to stop. This group chat was supposed to be so that the chaperones could share pictures and information about what was happening on the trip with the parents. And now I have to scroll through hours of your complaining texts in order to get to information that actually fucking matters. Welcome to Seriously, the podcast that dives into the baffling.
We can't send them to a prison where there's animals, where there's livestock.
The ridiculous.
Like omelets better than sex.
And downright unbelievable political climate in red states like Louisiana.
So we can't go there. There's no vegan jail.
Seriously.
Welcome to Seriously. We are your hosts. I'm Michelle.
I'm Ellie.
And today we are going to talk to my other best friend, Monica Charlton. So Monica is a personal trainer, a former sports writer, and overall sports fanatic. So we invited Monica to come on to the podcast to talk about something that Ellie and I don't know shit about, which is sports.
I want to give a little background about how much you know Monica. You guys are very, very old besties.
Yes.
I know two examples. One being that Michelle, when she had to evacuate for Hurricane Katrina, went and lived at Monica's parents' house.
That's right.
In California. Also that when you guys were in college, that you dressed up as Monica.
Yes.
As a costume. And apparently when walking around just the French Quarter, it was recognizable.
A complete stranger came up to me and was like, oh my God, you look just like this girl that I know, Monica. And I was like, yes, that's
what I'm going for.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't think I've told you this story. So I went to Colgate, which I loved, but I was sort of an outlier in a bunch of ways. One being that everyone there was very, very preppy.
Yeah.
I was not. And so I wore things like a silver dress that I had stolen from a play that I was in high school, and a very short, bright purple quilted skirt that was lovingly called the lampshade. So my sorority sisters would come over, which I was in a sorority. I know you were too. So little town. I know, little town. Exactly.
We're not talking about
I
it.
agree with that. Little known facts would come over to my house to borrow clothes for costume parties that were just the clothes that I wore all the time. And Jules, my roommate and best friend at one point then, so she dressed up for Halloween as a quote 70s girl, which was that was a costume in the 90s.
Yeah, I remember.
So we're out at a party and of course, some guy sees her and quips, is what are you dressed up as? Your roommate? When she was wearing my shirt. So I hear ya.
I'm
I hear
honored by
ya.
that.
Yeah, it was great.
People
It was great. I had the gold taking care of business sunglasses and a cowbell, which you obnoxiously carried around for a very long
I
time.
would get sick of yelling during Mardi Gras for beads, so I bought a cowbell
That's
so I could
smart.
just bang the cowbell. It worked really well for several years.
And clears out the crowd around
Clears
you.
the crowd out.
Yeah.
Much
100%.
like when
effect.
Michelle rode my back as I was dressed like Elvis and she was wearing a Mardi Gras at Candlestick Park.
Michelle and Monica I've known Monica for a long time, but Michelle has known Monica for a very long time. And yeah, you guys have, I'm sure,
Excited to talk about sports and reproductive rights.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just say this, I'm not a huge sports fan. Like, I can tolerate watching sports, but watching sports with Monica is infective. Like, nobody gets more excited, and you just absorb all of that.
Well, it's a huge part of my identity that I am a Kentucky basketball fan.
Okay.
So,
It's cool.
I understand sports, Michelle, if it is college basketball.
I got
And
no
if
problem with
it's
that.
not, then you are correct.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So obviously we like to start out our show with our seriously moments of the week. So who would like to get us started?
Sir, okay, so I'm going to do a political and legal and then a personal. So the political and legal is that Liz Murrill, our Attorney General, has this week filed a lawsuit in federal court in Louisiana to try to block the FDA REMS protocol on mifepristone, meaning trying to block what allows doctors now to send mifepristone by mail and to use telehealth to provide abortion services to people in our state and others. And folks who listen to this show and or are paying attention will know that I've been raising the alarm on how those people are like, they're making a lot of plans about how to make sure that like the workaround that everybody here has figured out like is not legal.
Right.
So one of those, of course, is just trying to like invalidate the SHIELD law or whatever to try to ensure that a court would, under a conflicts of law analysis, say that Louisiana law applies. The other one is just like a direct attack on the FDA rule. So that there's already a lawsuit in Texas in Kazmarik's.
Wait, and Liz tried to join that lawsuit.
Right. So she she has now filed the exact same thing in the Western District of Louisiana. So it's Liz, I mean, it's our state. I mean, it's the Attorney General plus a woman who says that her boyfriend pressured her into taking the abortion drugs.
It always starts with a man, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When they're going to control our bodies, the story actually starts with that man trying to control that woman's body.
Except, well, I don't want to say that I don't believe this story. I'm sure that that there is truth to it in terms of pressure, but there's a huge movement, as Michelle knows well, on the right to conflate being like, come on, with coercion.
Yeah.
And so,
so let me just interject for a minute. Sorry that I'm interrupting you, Ellie. I know this is a big problem for at least one of our listeners. But if they had evidence of coercion, then
this person would have been prosecuted.
Then they can prosecute that person.
100%.
The FDA's REMS protocols have nothing to do with whether or not some boyfriend in some bumfuck town in Louisiana coerced his girlfriend into taking abortion pills.
What they say is that otherwise she would have had the protection of an in-person appointment.
Right.
Where she could have then told the doctor that she didn't want to have an abortion.
Which she can't have here. Like, can't she not get an abortion here?
Yeah, but I mean, their point is that, if the in-person protocol were still in place, which is what, the FDA rules have gotten rid of, then she would have gone to a doctor and said, I don't want an abortion. And so they wouldn't have given her the pills. I mean, it's
you know what else would have helped her be able to go to a doctor? Not having abortion banned in the state of Louisiana, because she could have gone to a doctor here in the state of Louisiana and told that doctor here.
No doubt. I mean, plus the whole logic of it with this, I mean, the
whole illogic of it.
That's right. I mean, there's no accusation that like she was actually forced to take these pills. So like it wouldn't actually be different if you're being pressured by somebody and you have to go into an in-person appointment versus the pills come in the mail. It is actually no different at all. But yeah, so initially then they filed this lawsuit or Liz and this woman tried to intervene. They have filed a petition to intervene in that suit in Texas. I don't know what the fuck's going on with that. It was a bizarre procedural move to begin with. And I just sort of assumed, though, that it was like they're getting their narrative out. Because, like, the petition it is great for them. It is their full fucking narrative on this. Like, how many complications there are, like, how much coercion there is, how just their whole theory of the case.
Right.
But now I guess they've decided that, like, why put all our eggs in the fucking Casmeric basket? Might as well file suit in Louisiana as well. So that's all bad news.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then my personal, seriously, which some people might be able to hear, that there's construction work going on at my house right now, is that we're having a fundraiser here soon for Lyft. So I've been in full father of the bride mode, as I like to say, where I'm like, the bushes are being planted, the swans are being brought in. Like, there's like 50 different people coming and going from the house, like for reals. But that's also like created some problems at every like sort of repair and maintenance that happens. Something bad in return, like now the lock on my front door from all the pressure washing does not work. The light on my front porch doesn't work. Yesterday when I woke up, no, that's all right. At midnight when I was like trying to go to bed, I realized that my huge chandelier above my dining room table is leaking water, just like leaking water all over my dining room table, which it has now ruined. And that then my upstairs air conditioning is again out. So I was about to lose my mind yesterday.
No good deed goes unpunished.
It's so funny you say that. I literally thought about that this morning. I was like, this is a very no good deed goes unpunished situation. Both of having the goddamn fundraiser and also trying to do like necessary maintenance on my house.
So anybody listening
Seriously.
to this podcast that gets an invitation to this fundraiser, like, you need to come because Ellie's really put a lot of shit into this.
That's correct. The house looks beautiful.
It does.
I'm sure you can't tell the difference, but trust me, it's been a lot.
Monica, do you have a seriously?
I was just going to say the Liz Morel thing because I'd read that in the paper. And yeah, I didn't really, I didn't, no, it's okay. I didn't really understand it though. So I'm glad that you spoke about it more because, yeah, the ins and outs of in person, not in person, how they were able to, I guess, like post-COVID, right, was how we were able to start doing things via Zoom. And that's so I guess they're like rolling that back.
Yeah,
That's what they want.
It started during COVID and then was like kept going in 2023 in reaction to Dobbs. So like they're calling it like a, an obvious political decision.
Yeah.
But the truth is, yes, that like it did start during COVID because there actually is not the research, like all the scientific research shows that like you don't need an in-person appointment and these drugs should have been less regulated the whole fucking time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my seriously is also a personal one. So my daughter is in Paris with her school, which is fantastic. And she's having a great time and it's lovely. But what happened is that the chaperones, the teachers that have gone on the trip with the kids, started a WhatsApp group for all the parents.
I've had it sort of moment.
Yeah, much information.
Yeah.
I've had the benefit of not having to be part of these school parent group chats, which I have heard from Jennifer Welch and Angie Pumps on I've Had It are nightmares. So this was my first experience with the parent group chat. And boy almighty, are they correct.
I want to hear.
It completely devolved into nonsense. So first we had a parent.
First of all, how many texts are you getting then? Or how many kids?
Yeah,
it's just
I
like
can't imagine.
thousands.
I would wake up and, I'd wake up and I would like sort of lazily look at it at like, 9 a.m. and already there were, dozens. 60, 80, whatever texts. So it started with one parent being pissed off that the host family that her child was staying with wasn't doing enough with her. And they had been there for literally less than 36 hours. And she's going on and on and on about it.
Her kid's problem too, right? I mean, even if true.
Exactly.
Right? Like, why are you bringing that up to the entire group?
This is a group chat. It's not fucking group therapy.
Yeah, tell the goddamn teachers that anyway.
So that was annoying. That was annoying. That was really
entitled bullshit.
Oh my God, 100%. So that was annoying. And then another parent gets pissed off because the chaperones had told the students not to use their phones while they were in transit, like on the metro and while they're walking from place to place, because there's 4 chaperones, there's 40 students. They each have 10 students. And primarily their responsibility is to keep our kids fucking safe.
Yeah, but people are all about to get hit by cars all the time.
Or
texting who are full of
or they're not paying attention and they need to get off the train, all kinds of stuff, right?
They're using their French, maybe some of them for the first time.
They're not. They're on their phones. That's why they're supposed to not be on their phone.
Seemed like a completely reasonable rule that the chaperones instituted. A couple of the kids, I guess, weren't following the rules, and the chaperone was like, "Okay, give me your phones. I'll give them back to you at the end of the day."
Yeah.
And so then a parent gets insanely pissed off that her kids may not be able to use her phone to take pictures. The chaperone's not taking pictures. She wants fucking pictures. She needs pictures. And I mean, it is going on. It was 3 hours of text messages. And to the credit of the other parents in this group chat, people were being very gentle. Obviously, it was clear that they were like, you're kind of overreacting to the situation.
And clearly she's able to get her voice out. This kid is communicating to her mom, who is communicating to
she's got a separate tablet or something.
She's got her friends. Her friends are like, oh my God, Santa.
The mom told her daughter and then other kids, don't listen to the chaperone. Just take pictures, and if they have a problem with it, they can contact me. To which a lot of the parents were like, that's crazy.
Yes.
Don't tell the kids not to listen to the chaperone that's there to keep them safe. So then she gets kind of pissed off that she feels, I guess, she's getting ganged up on. She's getting ganged up on. I just kind of woke up in a shit mood on Thursday and was reading through all of this nonsense, literally just scrolling through to see is there something important that the chaperones posted that matters to me and my kid? And so I was just like, I beg you to stop. I message, I beg you to stop. This group chat was supposed to be so that the chaperones could share pictures and information about what was happening on the trip with the parents. And now I have to scroll through hours of your complaining texts in order to get to information that actually fucking matters.
You just stop might be the name of the episode.
She say, okay.
No, of course she was, she was super, super defensive.
Oh, she responded to that?
Yeah, she did.
That's also bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't respond.
Well, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you then what happened.
Really
then, literally within the next hour, the chaperones shut the group chat down so that only they can post. And I was like, thank God for everybody's fucking mental health in this situation.
Yes. This is a one-way chat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking.
And it's perfect. It's perfect. We're getting pictures. They're giving us updates on what the kids did. Yeah. It's wonderful. It's so much better.
You revolutionized that.
I know. But I told my daughter, I was like, look, I hope you're not really good friends with this girl, because I don't think me and her mom are, going to do very well together in the future.
Everybody loves rebelling against their mom by being friends with the person that their mom hates. The other
it was crazy. So,
and the moms these days are seriously.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into the moms these days.
All right.
All right. We're
going to jump into our topic. So, we're going to first sort of talk about reproductive rights and parenting and pregnancy in the world of women's sports. And I think that what's really interesting is that women are really kind of rewriting the playbook on this issue in the last couple of years. And there have been, all kinds of different challenges, both like kind of administrative challenges to the different leagues, different teams, also legal challenges. You know, I don't know a whole lot about this, but I'm very proud of them and excited about it.
I want to tout Monica as the expert that she is on this. So Monica sent us like a book. Like we've had a lot of.
I think it was 10 pages.
It was 10 pages. It was 10 pages single space.
I like to write.
Like we've had a lot of people on the show that are experts in various things. Nobody has sent us information, which granted Michelle asked you to do, which was smart. But like, yes, Monica knows what she's talking about. And there's like a lot. You should actually write a book.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. This was fun.
So Monica knows what she's talking about. Just want to be clear. If you would like her book, maybe she'll send it to you. She already has 10 single pages.
Yeah, we can get it going. Well, in these notes that I found, it's kind of crazy. There's really not almost any regulation helping and protecting women in professional sports at the professional level in the US or in Europe that I found prior to 2022.
Wow.
Which is like, blows my mind.
And you're talking about in terms of
you could be
cut. Discrimination.
Yeah, you could be like cut, you could be traded.
Losing sponsorship.
You could, lose your sponsorships. Back in 2017, after the Rio de Janeiro Olympics, Allison Felix lost her sponsorship almost with Nike. It wasn't really a losing of it, but they basically gave her a 70% reduction, which is like
for
being pregnant.
Yeah. So why don't you
after winning multiple gold medals and I don't even know what else. Like if you want to, she is the most highly decorated Olympic track athlete, male or female, ever from the US.
Why don't you start by talking about what the just before times,
the just before times. Before that, that would be you hid your pregnancy till the last possible second, usually, which was but by the time you're showing was as long as you could hide it. If you were in contract negotiations, you're terrified because you could be labeled as entering those negotiations in bad faith or not being committed, quote unquote, to your team because you had the audacity to get pregnant either on purpose or not on purpose. Because both happen, and
sure.
There's players who want to either have the liberty to get pregnant and keep playing, and be supported in that. And then there's players who want the liberty to not get pregnant and be protected no matter if their team is in a state that doesn't provide them the rights to do that. So the landscape has been constantly changing, but basically we're talking about not a lot of rights at all on that to finally fast forwarding to some really constructive CBAs, collective bargaining agreements at both European professional women's soccer level to the NWSL in the US to the WNBA. It used to be 8 weeks of paid time off, maybe, right? It's cool. Who can come back from pregnancy in 8 weeks?
Should then be a soccer player.
And it was also on a player by player basis.
Yeah, it was on a player by player basis, which if you're De'Erica Hamby, and she will acknowledge that she's genetically predispositioned to have babies and be an athlete. She will say my experience is not like anyone else's. She gained 16 pounds. Oh my. She had a natural birth, no tearing, and she was back on the court in 6 weeks.
I'll tell you what
that doesn't happen.
What's interesting about this too, when I was reading your book, then and now the way you're talking about it too. So it jumped out to me was what Allison Felix had said about, I feel like I needed to win all the medals possible and that I could before I started a family.
Correct.
And with you talking about, players hiding their pregnancy. this is what lawyers are doing too. Like, I mean, like, it's obviously like this field is different because it's like your body is
the mechanism.
Yeah. Is your asset. Yeah. But like, it's 100% true. And I'm sure this is true in other professional settings too. But every lawyer I know, you wait to get pregnant, you wait to start a family until after you've made partner law.
Right.
And like,
and that's why there aren't as many partners.
Don't tell anybody. And when you are pregnant, you don't tell anybody until the last possible second, because people will think that you're less committed to this case. They won't want to put you on like other high profile stuff. It's there's actually a lot of similarities that like, oh, I had really not thought about it.
I mean, think about like the 99ers USWNT. Like, I can't think of any of them that like were having babies in the 2000s still playing. It was like pregnancy was considered actually
a disability,
the kiss of death for an athlete. Like, that is the end of your career. That's the end. Like, you're not going to be able to come back from that, from the biological changes to just not being supported. As Allison Felix said, a lot of the burden is just childcare. Yeah. It's like, I came back from having, my body's actually finally good. It took me a year. You needed to give me a year of grace. Not everybody can come back in 6 weeks like Dearica Hamby. And then, now she needs like that support and childcare. And she's partnered with another nonprofit that like provides childcare at track meets now. Wow. So you can like bring your kid to your track meet and continue to perform at a super high level. And that's awesome. And that's like all they're asking for is the basic necessities of childcare, not sharing a room, if you can believe it. They have roommates.
So
like
ridiculous.
Alex Morgan was like, could I just not have a roommate? Can I not? She had to.
We're not on a school trip to Paris when we're 14.
She would have to carry her toddler up until like, I think they were 3 or 4 on her lap on road
because they wouldn't play.
They wouldn't give the kid
pay
an
for
extra.
a seat.
And then she has to go out and play. You can't play like that.
Talk about what we were talking about before about like how many female athletes are married to like a professional athlete who actually makes it.
This was kind of interesting. In this research, I have found that players like, you might not know her on the Houston Dash, Ryan Garris is engaged, maybe she's married him by now, but to Pat Connaughton, who's like a professional NBA player. We remember Julie Ertz, formerly Julie Johnston. She married Zach Ertz, like a wide receiver from the NFL. Mal Swanson is married to Dansby Swanson on the Chicago Cubs. Sophia now Wilson, formerly Smith, is married to her sweetheart from Stanford, who's in the NFL. They're all pregnant now, and that's cool. But I'm noticing that some of the players who were able to make that choice, they're actually married to professional male athletes. Yeah. I'm not even seeing that many of just like the players who are usually like gay and have to self-support their families, like they're the breadwinner. They can't have kids till after their career.
Yeah, so it's like, typically we were talking about, I was like, it's just like the same old shit where it's like, if you want to have a family, if you want to have security as a woman, you got to hitch your wagon to a man who has money.
Yeah.
Like that's the way out is a man who has money, even though you yourself have,
one of the things that I thought was also interesting in the tome that you sent us was, I can't remember which athlete it was, but talking about freezing your eggs.
Oh yeah.
Like, just understanding that like the best, athletic years of your life are also your reproductive.
18 if you're a phenom to 32, maybe 35. And if you're like Carly Lloyd and Becky Sauerbrunn, you're playing till you're 40. And they both had trouble getting pregnant. You had to use VF and stuff. And Carly Lloyd said it's the greatest gift of her life to finally get pregnant. But she felt there was no way she was going to risk her spot on the national team by ever getting pregnant during those 18 years she was on the national team.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, and plus for athletes, it has to be obviously you're in great shape. So one would sort of think, of course, your fertility will be high. that's probably not actually right because you're so lean. Your body is not actually, it's not in reproductive shape. It's in, it's in sports performance.
Who knows?
Shape.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like if the studies say they are more or less, but we all know that by the time you're 30, your reproductive rate goes, I mean, I think it goes down at 25, it goes down at 30, it goes down at 35.
At every turn.
And
at every turn.
Yeah. Players like Allie Riley, who's a defender for Angel City FC, she's 37, and she just got the memo like a couple years ago from her coworker, Sydney LaRue, who is, by my book, like the only single mother parent in the NWSL. Wow. And she's doing it with 2 kids and a badass and like providing for them all on her own. But Sydney LaRue advised her, dude, like, you're not a spring chicken, bro. Mm-hmm. And you want to keep playing. Like, have you thought about freezing your eggs? And she's like, I didn't even think about that. And she's like, well, why don't you go, see how many eggs you have, see if you're viable. And she had like 8 eggs left, or like it was like they were able to get like a few, but she was like coming to the end, and then they were able to get 3 viable embryos. She's got those on ice.
I was just gonna say,
and she's gonna put them in next year.
True. So I was been waiting to say that you're in your book. Yeah, the embryos on ice. What? Like, I have never heard anyone say that, and I love it. Embryos on ice. Michelle likes her embryos neat. I like mine on ice.
Yeah. I like my embryos neat.
But yeah, she made the great point. She's such a good activist for all, and like she's straight, but an activist for LGBTQ and everybody. She's just, she wants that message out there. Like, think about it. When you're a young athlete, you should be allowed to have these conversations. You should be given access to IVF fertility treatment by your clubs, or at least not be punished for wanting to do it, because it also puts your body through it while you're doing it. And you're also trying to go to practice and do all these things. People aren't thinking about all that. Yeah, it's kind of gnarly. It's just like a cool side thing to think about, that can we still have our career, but also fulfill that dream of being a mother?
I want to talk about De'Erica and Skylar Diggins-Smith.
Their stories are really sad.
So what they were talking about is being isolated from the team resources.
Right.
This was really interesting to me because the paid leave thing makes sense. The childcare thing makes sense. Yeah. But like when you take, a step back to do the parenting and the pregnancy thing, being completely cut off from the resources. So talk a little bit about what you found out about that.
It was crazy. Like an example of a good team, like doing it the right way, might be Chelsea FC in London, where they hired a pelvic floor specialist. They're going like above and beyond, and that person is there like helping them design the programming before, after pregnancy, everything for any players that are going through that. Then you've got the Las Vegas Aces prior to it was like the 2022 season. They won the WNBA championship with De'Erica Hammy. She was a huge part of it. She signs a 2-year extension that off season because she was so good. Yeah. She's starting to really hit her prime, and she realizes she's pregnant. Mm-hmm. Then there's this back and forth and potentially a phone call between Becky Hammon, the coach, and she, where Becky Hammon may have said words such as, "We need bodies. You didn't hold up your end of the bargain. We're hearing you want to get pregnant again. We can't trust you."
And this is also a woman.
And this is a woman who played in the WNBA and has kids. Mm-hmm.
I also saw in your book something about that, people refusing pregnancy tests. Like, are they forcibly pregnancy testing athletes?
That before 2023, you could.
That's insane. Yeah. I mean, can you be required to take
lose? Yeah, there's punishment basically. You could lose players. You can be docked. There's different ways of financially punishing them. Is basically it.
I mean, so in other words, not only if you are pregnant and you want to be, they're giving you all this bullshit, but also just you're subject to pregnancy testing. I mean, like
they got to make sure that, you know, you can play.
I mean, this is just with athletes in general, of course, in our society, that like they're treated as like a commodity, you know, like not as like a human. Like we need to know what's going on with you. We need to know.
Yeah. Oh, we're going to get into more of that later, but
Yeah. So she gets traded to the Los Angeles Sparks, which in her federal lawsuit against the WNBA and the Aces, like she states was like Siberia. Like it was a crappy team. She got traded from who is now a dynasty. They just won their third championship in 4 years. She would have been a part of all that. So her argument was, I lost all these marketing dollars. You sent me from a tax-free state in Nevada to the highest taxes in the country in California, to like a crappy team from a good team. It's like, you punished me because I got pregnant. Yeah. And so she can kind of lay it out.
Well, plus, I mean, just in your trajectory in terms of, again, like, you know, I see things through a lawyer's lens. Your resume is everything, you know.
And she has proven that.
And like, so she was basically demoted. So it's like going from a really good firm to a bad firm, you know, and then like people are like, why? Like, why did this person go from a really good? There must be something wrong.
And then she kind of waited like a year to formally file it, because I think she needed to build that. She wanted to build that resume. Yes. She's like, I'm going to get All-Star 2 times in a row.
You would have to.
I'm gonna, you know,
absolutely have
I'm gonna go to the Olympics and get a bronze in women's 3x3. And I'm gonna have a foundational rotational piece on the Sparks.
If you get traded / go to a lesser place from where you started, you have to reprove it all over again.
She's like, I'm gonna work my ass off. I've done this before. I did it at the age of 22. I came back in 6 weeks. She's like, I'm 28 now. I'm not as much of a spring chicken, but I'm still 28. She's like, I'll come back again. Guess what she did? She came back in 6 weeks again. Didn't miss training camp. Kept her word. Like, she knew her body. She knew what she was capable of. Came back and had a little bit of a down year that first year, but was back to being an all-star.
Which, of course, that's just also what you have to do. And not everybody can do that. But, like, I mean, this is my livelihood. This is like my only ability to succeed in life. So just the sheer force of will. I know women, again, lawyers who were like on bed rest, like literally till the moment of birth, or like, you know, same thing where it's like, no, put me on that trial team, and you know, in 2 months and 6 weeks and whatever, like don't exclude me from that.
That's an amazing effort and ability and luck for those women who can do that. But like, any man can do that.
Exactly.
They can just like, I just read today, like, Cam Newton just had his 9th child. I'm like, I didn't even know he had 8. Like, damn, like, because you don't even hear about it. I've never seen him with a kid. I've never seen him doing anything. Like, I'm like, I didn't even know he had kids, honestly. Sean Alexander just had his 14th child. It's like, so they can have like babies. I don't miss a day of work, no problem. Yeah. And Ryan Garris is like, you know, Pat Connaughton got to work like on the day I'm going into the hospital, and then play his game and then just come meet me at the hospital. I can't do that.
Exactly. What society needs to recognize, you know, both in the professional space and the sports space, is that we need to still value the contributions that, like, we as women, you know, people who are giving birth are providing. Like, that's a totally different experience than like the man side of it. But like, why can we not just like figure out how to like make reasonable accommodations? So that then talented women can like just, you know, come back. Well, that's resume their career.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that Alex Morgan said, which I really liked, was this is the cost of doing business. Yes. If you're in the business of like the WNBA or you know, women's soccer,
attention to all these people who are investing in women's sports right now because they see that it's booming and they want to make a quick dime
and they win more than men.
Like, you need to know that do not get involved unless you're going to actually support these players to the fullest extent.
Yeah. In the professional context, the cost of doing business then, the way that it's being done, is that you're losing a ton of talent. Like, you're bleeding talent because you're not creating a space where those women come back.
Yeah.
You know, they just leave the workforce then, which is also what's happening in all of women's sports. You need older players. Like, they have experience. They're the ones who mentor the younger players. The just don't worry about it. There's somebody else who will, the widget theory, you know, like the we're all widgets. Like that's, you know, it's very short sighted, or it's just not, it's not the most effective way to be running anything.
No. I'm going to ask you to kind of put your personal trainer hat on for a second. Because you have a baby, maybe you get paid leave. That's great. Yeah. But when you come back, there's like so much pressure to like your body back, right?
Yeah. Right.
So from your perspective, like how should trainers, because this is not just all about like those that are making contract decisions. Yeah. How do you think that trainers should be thinking about like supporting people as they're coming back?
They've got to do research. They need to probably do workshops. There's a trainer for the Houston Dash named Dr. Dorcas Copa, I believe, who, you know, said that in the past 15 years that she's been working with professional athletes, what she learned in med school and physical therapy school is like kind of not even like applicable now. And it's all changed. They weren't, it wasn't even probably covered. And yeah, she's just like, I had to pretty much rewrite her own book because there was a season where she had 3 players get pregnant in one season and she had to get them all back within a reasonable time. And I think she got them all back within like 3 months, which I would say that seems like a more reasonable expectation.
100%.
I would still consider that awesome. Like, say you had a traumatic birth or something and you needed 6 months, that seems totally fine.
I mean, if you're having a C-section,
that's
going to be a long time.
I would assume that could be awful.
In the U.S., I mean, the longest maternity leave that anybody has is 6 months, which with like when I worked in New York, then it was, you would get 3 months paid, 3 months unpaid.
Oh, yeah. The NWSL had to like redo their CBA. They had one in 2022 that was going to go to 2026, but they had to redo it already in 2024, just last year, because they were already outgrowing it and figuring out all these things that they needed to redo. And now it's 6 months.
Six months is what
I think that's reasonable. You can't be traded without your say. So you kind of have like almost a no trade clause, everybody now. So at least you have a little bit of say where you and your family are going.
Yes.
You know, where do I want to raise my kid? What kind of schools and stuff? Or if they have an issue, you know, oh, it'd be great if we were playing for this club in this state where there's really good facilities for my kid or whatever.
Yeah. So I want to move on to some other stuff, but like that, I was also really fascinated with with this new CBA that they're doing mental health leave.
That was awesome.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that was huge. God, so that's mental health leave.
Yeah. I know the nonprofit advocacy world should really think about this.
Yes.
But this all started because Alex Morgan said, she's actually become quite the activist, you know, and now she's like an owner of the San Diego Wave, part owner, so she can kind of like flex those muscles a little more. But she said she asked for time off after the birth of her child. Right. She's like, I need the next camp off. Can I take the next, you know, USWNT camp off? And they didn't call her for 6 or 7 months, she said.
Oh my God.
And they ghosted her?
Yeah, they just ghosted Alex Morgan, who like they've extracted so much marketing from over the years. Like because she was the straight pretty one. Like poor Abby Wambach didn't get it because, you know, she wasn't, and Megan Rapinoe didn't get it till much later.
This is just also again like the commodity. They're like, we've used you. Like you're done. You're done. Yeah. We don't need to call you back. It's like the fucking with the Epstein book, right? With the depreciated women.
Oh right.
Depreciated women. They're depreciated.
Having one kid and then coming back is really hard, but there are so few players who have come back after having 2. Like that seems to be.
Well, if you don't have the support at home, I mean, it's like it's just completely unreasonable.
Yeah, but the point being that, like, of course, like, physically and life-wise, then, like, yeah, like, having a second child is going to be hard. But, like, if there isn't, like, a support system that even makes it, like, obviously, there are athletes that are able to do that. So the assumption that this is going to be impossible is false. Like, create an ecosystem that supports women's ability.
I've been in the friends and family area at the Dome after a Saints game, and like a no-name fullback had 5 kids.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
And I'm like, what the hell? This dude is just, 28 and had like 1 million children already, and he's like,
it's not messing up his game at all.
Not who he is, doesn't like a no-name fullback dude, and he's just gets to procreate, and his gal's taking care of it all. Like,
I do think it's also like important,
and he's paid enough to be able to have because every time I see a kid, I'm like 100K, 150K, 1 million, depending on if they go private school.
One time I asked Monica if she would have children, and Monica said, "I don't know, man. I think they would just hold me back during the apocalypse."
Now, like, I still don't want kids. I'm happy with my fur baby, Curry. Mwah. But I guess now I'm realizing, damn, like now I thought I was going to be younger when the apocalypse was coming. So now I'm like, damn, I should have made a kid so they could take care of me during it.
Because we talk about abortion a lot on this podcast, we wanted to talk about how abortion restrictions are intersecting with sports. You sent us some really cool information about that.
What players are doing about it.
Yeah. Like the activism that players are taking on. So you want to just kind of give us a rundown?
I would say like the gold standard is the WNBA, probably. They did a Bands Off Our Bodies campaign, and, they've put like Black Lives Matter on the court, which obviously has an intersection with abortion rights as well.
And like including that they did a full, I mean, I know this only from your book, that like a full page spread, like, and then New York Times, the Sunday New York Times.
A really beautiful statement, which I don't have memorized, but was fabulous. And
like explicit. I would have been impressed even if it had been like coded language, but it wasn't. It was like access to contraception, abortion, fertility.
Yep. All the things, and that it's not just important for athletes, but that it's important for all women or like women identifying people, I guess,
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I think has come up in different contexts is decisions that sports leagues or individual teams or whatever are making regarding policies that are being passed in different states. And so, we have 22 states with either total abortion bans or near total abortion bans. And there are teams in these states. And so that has to weigh heavily on decisions that players are making about whether they want to go play for a team and like sign a contract and move into one of those states with those restrictions, or even decisions that leagues are making or clubs are making about whether they're going to hold competitions and whatnot in those particular states, which I think, all of that is about like money and resources coming into the states.
Right. But it's also.
And you're costing yourself, actually, if you're a state that has more restrictions on abortion, because you've steered at least the WNBA away from you. There's a reason why they're going to Detroit, Cleveland, Philadelphia, Portland, San Francisco. These are the 5 expansion teams. Notice where they all are.
Yeah.
Well, when players like Sophie Cunningham say, I want teams in places where I want to play, like Nashville and Miami and Kansas City, it's like the WNBA can't afford to expand there, because then they would have to do what the Houston Dash do, which is cover abortion costs for their entire front office and their players.
Which means flying them out of state.
Yeah. Or after Liz Morel gets done with this state and then gives other states the blueprint of how to cut them off from getting care there, what are they going to do?
It reminded me of the military issue too. You're basically stationed somewhere if you're a professional athlete or you're in the military. Like you get sent
Especially if you're drafted, which until,
Like,
in the WNBA you're drafted, and the NWSL, thankfully, they just got rid of it.
Yeah.
So now there'll be a lot more player empowerment. That's like another thought process. It's like, why do we have to model everything after the male
That's
leagues?
interesting.
Maybe like, why do we even have to have a draft? Maybe like it's just who wants to pay this person the most. You can have them.
But yeah, I mean, the point being though that, for your career, you end up somewhere where you maybe never wanted to live and don't have any interest in living.
And it might even be unsafe for you.
That's right.
Depending on how you look and present.
To live
here,
at least for a time. You need to live there, before you can get the fuck out of, here.
Yeah. We're talking professional sports here, people. You've got, hopefully at least 5, but ideally 10. And then in a perfect, amazing world that you have a long career, like 15 to 20 years.
Right.
And that's like the 15 to 20 is super rare. We're talking about very few amounts of people who get to.
And you got to make
who
all your
can
money
stay
then.
healthy enough. Their bodies are biologically built well enough that they can withstand enough surgeries and come back enough times to keep playing that long.
This is your time to make money for your family for the rest of your life. So if you're not paying women enough to do that, then you're retiring and having to get a totally different weird job.
And prior to social media, the 99ers didn't have access to TikTok to make funny videos of themselves dancing while eating a muffin.
Right. And only
now this new generation has newer ways and the benefit of NIL, which started in 2021 to make money. You can make a decision to stay in college now if you want to and make more money in college. And maybe you're not even good enough to go pro, Livy Dunn, at the gymnast, and you can just stay there. But whatever. Other topics.
Okay. All right. So, this whole conversation about fairness and equality, who gets to participate fully in these sports,
right? And in athletic life,
who gets recognized, what fairness and inclusion really looks like, I think brings us to another conversation that obviously has been heating up across the country and in the courts, specifically the Supreme Court, right? Yeah. Is the participation of trans women in sports. So I'll just set the table that just in this year, in 2025, 125 bills were introduced to limit trans people's participation in sports. And over 1/3 of states in the country have already passed, including Louisiana, laws that are banning transgender students from participating in sports consistent with their gender identity. And that impacts both K through 12, right, and college sports. Just to sort of frame this the way that I've been thinking about this a lot in light of what we were just talking about is the hypocrisy of this, because a lot of these laws that they're passing, I mean, they're model legislation, blah, 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 whatever, but they have titles like protecting fairness, right? Protecting fairness in women's sports.
Yeah. It's all about protecting women. All the messaging is about protecting.
Yeah, it's protecting, it's paternalistic, it's about protecting, but it's also protecting fairness, right?
That's right.
So, at the same time that there's all of this resistance to fairness in this other context of paid leave, pregnancy, pregnancy.
I finally just got the right to not get fired for being pregnant if we're a professional athlete.
Right.
Just canceling everything that even says the word woman or black, in grants. I mean, just
I have not seen the Alliance Defending Freedom or Concerned Women of America, who these are the organizations that are pushing these anti-trans bills in the states. Yeah. They're not showing up to join the side of any of these women athletes in their contract negotiations to try to get
or paid maternal leave for anyone.
They're not fighting for equal fields and facilities. They're not fighting for better coaching or freedom from abuse from coaching.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is, that's a real thing.
Yeah. And they're talking about the laws are called protection of women, whatever. But within that law, they're going to give the government or whoever the right to upskirt children.
Yes.
Either hypothetically or real. That would, to me, sound so much more abusive than me maybe playing with like one trans kid like once in probably my whole career, which is like probably what would happen.
Yeah.
If I played for like 15 years, and I don't even know if I ever did. Maybe I did.
That's why
maybe I didn't.
Because no one was
And maybe I did, maybe I didn't, and nobody cared. I once got blocked by a girl with one hand. It was embarrassing. In volleyball. But she was a badass. She was like 6'3", and her hand, singular, was huge. So big. And she could serve with one, and she grabbed what she had with the other arm and was a great passer. It's like you can still be good no matter how you present. You know, it's like, let's let people play.
And with K through 12, I think in particular, the really important thing about this is the inclusion aspect in terms of how high the rates of suicide are for trans kids. Like how difficult like it is.
Is that not more important than banning in Indiana 0 trans children from playing sports, or in North Dakota 4 children from playing sports, or in other states as little as like 2 and 3? Like we're making huge, really bodily intrusive and psychiatrically and psychologically intrusive decisions. Policy. Because Leah Thomas won one race in 2022.
Children.
Possible for these children to participate in sports.
Which all of the research shows that participation in sports, it was not my thing.
Although you were a cheerleader, that's bullshit. You were
on the team.
Nonetheless, I mean,
being a part of a team,
it's good for everyone. Remember how we all, when you get together with your friends, you talk about your sports experiences growing up.
And especially for kids
participating
that are
in sport is formative.
Already,
like struggling and feeling excluded
and,
you know, and feeling isolated. Like being a part of a team is so incredibly important. And to take that away from
or doing a singular sport. Maybe you're the kind of kid like Michael Phelps who just likes to look at a line all day, and that was like his thing. Whatever.
Finding something you're good at, right?
Yeah.
Like talking to my mom, like in the South, you know, in the 50s, then she was like with us, me and Blair growing up, was like, it's so good now that girls can be good at school, they can be good at sports, and those are things that are recognized. Like when I was growing up, just being pretty was the only thing. That was the whole thing. You were either pretty or you weren't, and everything else was like no one cared about, or you were a weirdo. Like
our parents' generation had to wear like skirts playing basketball and stuff, you know, if they got to play basketball, you know.
It's like if you didn't have a date on a Saturday night, then you hid in your house like that, so nobody like knew. We don't need to go back to a time where girls are only good for one thing. You know?
Or God forbid worse. You know, I mean, you used to be able to lobotomize your daughter for being gay, or put them away in an insane asylum. Those old school ones back in the day, or institutions. It's like, that is the kind of rhetoric that, like, the trans conversation in sport, they're trying to be like the gateway drug to just continuing that and expanding it out. And they're going to come for masculine presenting, cisgendered, and non-binary people next. And then they're going to expand it out even more. I don't understand how people don't understand if, like, we're not all taking care, we don't like care about us all, like no one is going to be
morally that
safe.
Should just be the imperative. But I hadn't ever thought about this, but it's very similar to what's happening with the immigrant communities now. Okay, like, you know, the undocumented, and then who looks like undocumented, who's speaking of the language, who did it, like it just like expands
the
out.
net, it keeps widening. And they're moving into more cities and like and just changing tactics.
So the only thing I'll say that's like nuanced about this, like I don't know what your opinion is of this. What we've just said has always been my position on this, and I think it's the right position with K through 12. I've heard people, you know, who are more moderate, so I'm like, I don't know exactly if I agree with them or not, say that like once people are older, you know, like are in college or in professional sports, that like maybe the rules should be different in terms of like transgender athletes participating in women's sports. What do you guys think?
trans women have been in sport for over 25 years and nobody cared because
it was a problem.
If this was
there would
issue,
be evidence of
that. Yeah, there would be evidence of like dozens of trans women who had already broken all the records.
Right.
But guess how many world records there are by a trans woman?
Like
0. Guess how many there are at the Olympics? 0.
Yeah.
So why are we making this even like a thing?
That's
like Leah Thomas won a race in the Ivy League. Like, no offense, but like,
for listeners who may be like me, and they're not following sports that much. So explain the story of Leah Thomas.
She began her career as a man at UPenn and swam, I believe, for 2 or 3 years on the men's program and was ranked middling, like in the top, within the top 100 in the nation.
Yeah, like pretty good.
Like, that's like pretty good, you know. I'm like, you don't suck.
No.
You're not going to probably make an Olympic team or something, but that's dope. That's pretty good. So then she goes through hormone therapy and has the benefit of COVID to actually like take that year off, not swim, and do like kind of a like I don't know the ins and outs of Leah Thomas's transition, but like as much of a transition
and training and
do while training. Yeah. So she swam again in like 2022. And her 2022 season was very good. She swam on the women's team. Again, she was in the Ivy League conference. It's not,
no,
it's like, she's not like at Stanford. Her best time in the 500 was 9.18 seconds less than Katie Ledecky's best time.
Yeah.
Like,
that's like, she's like still swimming for like a day after.
Who's shocker, then Katie Ledecky was then labeled a man, accused of being a man. So this is where this is the net. Yeah. Okay, the net is expanding. It goes, we started at Leah Thomas and then we get Katie Ledecky.
I think this is really important. Yeah. Like this story is important.
She qualifies for 3 races in the NCAA swimming finals. In the 100, which is the fast, that's like the fast twitch one. I think the 50 is the one straight down. The 100, you have to do a sweet ass little turn and then come back.
That's right.
Love the turn. Yeah. And so Leah Thomas is doing it, comes back, touch. She's 9th. Not bad, So didn't even make it into the finals is what that means. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So there's like 8 badass cisgendered women who beat Leah Thomas that year in the 100. Okay.
But then what? She trains.
Then she goes out and does the 200, where she ties for 5th with a piece of human trash named Riley Gaines. For reasons unbeknownst to me, and Riley Gaines, I don't like you, but this was unfair. For some reason, they gave Leah Thomas the 5th place trophy, and then they said
they had the exact same time.
Yeah. For some reason, I don't know, instead of just giving you both, like the 5th place trophy, then it was like, here, you're 6th place.
It was
Riley.
There was no
and then Riley was like, but I want to be 5th place, which is, you're still a loser. If Leah Thomas wasn't there, you'd still be 5th place.
That's correct.
She's made a career out of this now. And guess who we never heard from? The other women who beat Leah Thomas.
Who were all cisgender women.
Cisgendered women who didn't care.
And on the sport, I assume that like that
it will now because now
I mean in terms of ability, like that.
Yeah, actually it's a good point because there are sports where transitioning to female maybe would help you more.
Yes.
But it's like then there's sports that acting, I think a lot of people's problem with this is because they are still stuck in like 1994 watching Ladybugs. And think that like, we're talking about a dude putting on a wig.
Wait, the Rodney Dangerfield movie?
Yeah, what do you mean? Rodney Day, I'm Rodney Dangerfield, like, what are you serious? I'm talking, like, people literally think I think they're picturing LeBron James putting on a wig and going out there and like dunking.
I think that the like misconception is it's all about testosterone, right? That it's like
that's what they
more
think.
testosterone makes you better at sports. Just like 1 + 1 = 2.
Although the studies state testosterone has no bearing on athletic performance. And yet we consistently use it as this measure. And we're now casting that net out wider to intersex people.
Yeah.
Where do they get to be? Well, these people do exist. Like all the Republicans or and conservatives who say there's only 2 sexes, you're actually wrong. There's people in between. It's called intersex.
Yeah.
You know, it's confusing, but there are like over like 24 ways that someone can be intersex.
Well, also just everyone's hormone levels are different. Like everyone's testosterone.
It could have to do with
I assume that I have a higher testosterone level than like a lot of women because like I'm a lawyer. Like I'm pretty aggressive, like in terms of like I'm very girly, but like there's no doubt that I have more testosterone than like a lot of
we're
joking
that we're gonna go to Walgreens after this and get our testosterone testing.
Oh my God, that's so fun.
I'm not doing anything to take my blood. I don't give a shit.
Well, if you want to box in the Olympics, you have to give them your blood. It's called a PCR test.
So the point being that these are all variable things, right? With any individual person.
They are women with like, and we're not even talking ambiguous genitalia. I'm talking people with just like hormonal differences.
I'm just saying people who are talented at things.
Yeah.
No one knows exactly what their hormonal makeup is, but everybody knows that like they've got something else that's better than other people's, you know, like for this thing. You know, I mean,
like I may have higher testosterone. We don't know. Like I've never gotten it tested.
But the assumption that just higher testosterone makes you a better athlete is what is driving all.
Again, which is like a completely fucking misogynistic.
It's also not true. There are elite male athletes who have lower testosterone levels than some cisgendered men.
Ladies are weak. Yeah. Men are strong.
Yeah, men are strong.
We need them to protect us.
Right. That's the whole game.
Yeah, because nobody was concerned about the trans boy who was forced to then compete on the women's wrestling team in Texas.
So we're talking F to M.
Yeah.
Female to male.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sex assigned at birth was female.
Born female.
Wants to compete with the boys. Wants to.
Oh, they put him on the girls' wrestling team, and he's fucking dominating everybody. You know,
has like 2 state championships. So people are like up in arms about like that goes totally counteractive to their argument of
fairness.
Then it's gonna cause witch hunts. If I was growing up in this environment, I might not have won 2 gold medals Junior Olympics in Taekwondo. I might not have played basketball in high school where I like to wear baggy shorts. I may not have gone on to be able to play volleyball because people might have made fun of me of how I looked because I've been
just straight up accused you.
I've been misgendered since I was a child. I looked like Ringo. I had like a short haircut and I like to wear boys' clothing. I had like ugly glasses and I had to wear those sports goggles because it was the 90s. I just looked really bad and it was fine, but it was how I looked.
Kids that are presenting in a certain way, like they should just be free to do that. And the thing that is, I think, really concerning, and this is kind of one of the points that I really wanted to get to, and I'm going to actually play a little bit from this podcast that you and I both listened to. What we are forcing athletes to go through because of this like anti-trans witch hunt nonsense is like insane and extremely dangerous. I want to play a little bit from this podcast. So it's called Talking Politics with Mom. I just found this podcast. I'm going to listen to more episodes. The episode title is Why My Mom Changed Her Mind About Trans Athletes in Sports. This mom like played sports. Sports were incredibly important to her. She explains all of that in the episode. One of the things that her like in context is that, you know, she really talks about how this is a generational difference, especially with women,
the boomers.
Yeah, the boomers or the elder Gen Xers.
I would say she's talking about like the pre-Title IX people.
Yeah, so she's talking about the generation who grew up like having the door slammed in their face. Yeah. And they have deep memories of that, and it's very,
like
very personal.
Scarcity.
You know,
Yes.
like they're worried about, they're seeing this as like men trying to take another opportunity away from women athletes. So that is the perspective that she sort of came to this issue with, but she evolved.
There was a time in women's sports when everyone, any successful woman was always whispered about that she was actually a man. Always. They never believed that women could be good athletes. They just thought, no, you're a guy in a wig. And they had, gender inspection tests and hormone tests and all of these tests for, 80 years. What I specifically remember was there was a period of time when the men put women through the nude parade, because the basic thing was, we decide whether you're a woman, not the doctor who slapped your butt when you were born and looked at you and said, girl. No, we decide. You have to parade nude in front of a panel of 3 doctors, and they will inspect you, and they will look at you, and they will decide if you're female enough. And there were women who were disqualified because they were flat-chested. Their boobs weren't big enough to make the cut of what these doctors thought was feminine enough. Into the 1990s, they were doing genetic testing of women. I had no idea that this was going on. And it didn't stop until the medical profession kept demanding, there's no scientific basis for this. I'm talking to my sisters. I'm talking to the women of my generation who went through this. I'm talking to gay women. I'm talking to all of you. I'm talking to fathers who are the father of a tomboy. Your daughter is next. I don't care what they put on her birth certificate. It doesn't matter to them. They're banning trans kids starting in kindergarten. Well, who the hell knows anything about their gender identity when they're 5 years old? I mean, who knows about it half your life? You struggle with it. And you think I'm being like ridiculous and hysterical. I have news for you. Those bans say you have to play in the sport of the gender you were assigned at birth, which means the doctor picked you up, looked at your, private parts and went, girl, boy. It's a girl, it's a boy. Everybody's happy. They send out cards. There's, in some of them, in a lot of them, in the new one that's in front of the federal government, they also say, there's a little weasel phrase, read it. It says genetic identity. Like, what the hell is that? What it is they want to pry into your chromosomes, especially if you're a really good athlete, a really good female athlete. They want to look into your body to find out why you're so good. And if they decide that you are really good because the gifts that God gave you fit into some slim categories, they will kick you out of the sport. Every elite athlete is somewhat of a genetic freak.
Of course. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
Always. Always.
I know. It's like you're a freak.
Also, like the part about the outreach to dads of tomboys.
Yeah.
Because what I hear, honestly, from some people, like, in who I know well, who are very progressive, who are dads of daughters, is the opposite. Like, thinking about it through the lens of, like, I want my, I don't want my daughter to be at a disadvantage. Like, this seems unfair, which I do know why they feel that way. I don't think it's based in evidence and science, but I think reframing it to be like, okay, what about daughter number 2?
Yeah.
Like, is she not able
Well,
to
as daughter number 2 and
Yeah.
a tomboy,
Yeah.
like, I know that you dealt with a lot of
Jeez.
this.
I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
like I would go to San Francisco Giants games with my dad, and if we were alone, typically I went to the men's bathroom with him. I don't know if that was because he didn't want to wait for me, because the women's lines were always longer. Maybe he was just being cunning. But I was taught to just like use the men's bathroom with him, and I would just like go into a stall and pee, but I would be kind of scared because I'm sitting and everybody else is probably at their urinal, but I would just walk past the urinal or whatever and then come back. So I've had weird bathroom stuff since I was a kid. For years, I was like sometimes using the women's and sometimes using the men's, depending on how I was dressed and the company I was with, if they were okay with it. Like, my dad just didn't care. I guess also when you're with your dad alone, how are they supposed to take their girl to the bathroom? Like, you see women take their boys in the bathrooms all the time. So I felt like it was the same.
It does become an issue with kids at any age. Yeah. And, we need more unisex bathrooms.
It just was, I feel like that would have I would have had no anxiety if that was like an offering. Back then, I had anxiety about which bathroom I should go into. I'd like go towards the ladies and they'd start looking at me and I'd be like, go towards
my good friend from college.
Like do like a beeline.
Yeah, there's a transgender kid. We talk about this a bunch. I mean, and her kid is young, like starting to realize that, oh my God, the world is really not accommodating, very for everything being gendered, but nobody likes that.
I feel like if we go back to like the casting of the net, that was kind of like
the bathroom bill.
The bathroom bill was kind of like where they started, and now they're going into sport, and then they're gonna like go beyond. Like it's just gonna keep widening and widening.
And the bathroom was that it was unsafe.
And trans people like probably commit like the lowest like instances of sexual assault.
It's the same going back to trying to outlaw mifepristone by any means necessary. A narrative of it being unsafe and unfair, right? Because it's unfair if you're being given against your will. It's unsafe because you're bringing up the emergency room. Like, that's very smart narrative. I don't know why we don't have better fucking narratives on our side.
This is like our perennial question.
Because those things are not supported by the real world evidence. Yeah. But they're things that everyone can imagine. You could imagine being in a bathroom and feeling unsafe.
Or when I've like gone into women's bathrooms and been like asked to leave or thrown out. It's like it's like
that's the kind of unsafe that they're
it's like that made me feel really unsafe.
Also, the scenario that I just said has never happened to me. I can imagine. It's like it's all stuff that like you can like imagine, but that isn't really happening.
That's the thing that just makes me fucking crazy about all of this stuff is that this is not a problem. Like, they're framing it as we have to pass these policies because the liberals, the woke liberals are like, push. We're not the ones that are obsessed with trans people.
That is correct.
They are the ones that are obsessed with trans people.
Obsessed.
I have like maybe 5 trans friends, and that's probably more than most people.
That's a lot more than most people.
It might be, and I haven't met, and I didn't get to meet any of them until I was in my late 30s.
Yeah, I would say most trans people that I know are just trying to kind of low-key live their lives.
Yeah, dude.
Just like every other person that is a vulnerable minority in this country.
Yes.
Like, they're just trying to low-key live their lives. When you're pushing an agenda that says, actually, you can't use the fucking bathroom in public, or an agenda that says
you have to go into one that makes you unsafe. That's right. Like a biological woman who is transgender going into a male bathroom, that is unsafe. That is actually very unsafe.
Yeah.
There's lots of sexual assaults on people who are biologically female but presenting as male.
You can still be like an F to M trans person and get pregnant. You still have a uterus. Yeah. So like you're still very susceptible to sexual assault.
100%. And consequences. Like the pregnancy consequences, which then again, we don't have any sort of exemptions
all
or
the
exceptions.
States that are doing this crap also wouldn't let anybody
It's insane. And like, we're not the ones that are pushing a woke agenda. We are merely showing up in response to this insane anti-trans, like Christian white nationalist psycho agenda. We're showing up and saying, no, we don't want that.
Yeah.
As we kind of close this conversation out, how can players, leagues, teams, but also fans and activists work together to ensure that the rights of athletes and their voices are really being represented in these conversations, and that we're shaping policy that is meaningful to them and like what they need to continue to show up and be on TV and like let us all enjoy their glory every single weekend?
I'd say, yeah, like from the front office perspective, they're going to be in charge of like the marketing and the optics and like the sponsorships, and they're going to want to think about who they work with, you know, maybe do what the WNBA did in partnership with Opal. And then you also create an education program where you go to like HBCUs and talk about more ways of accessing contraception. Yeah, they're doing it. That's it's in the book. They are doing that type of stuff. So that's like front office can do that. They can also do all kinds of marketing and engagement and like fan fests and things around it, right? And then from the coaches, they need to not do what Becky Hammon did the first time.
Yeah.
And do what Becky Hammon did the next time, where she let Cheyenne Parker Tyus have her second child after just signing a contract and then being like, JK, I'm pregnant. And they didn't trade her. They kept her. And then they activated her, and she came off the bench and got some good minutes at the end of the year, you know, and she came back after 10 weeks and she barely got to play this year. But guess what? They won the championship, and now they don't look like assholes.
So like at the end of the day, like for like people, you know, just always important to remember like that, like supporting women's sports, right?
Yeah.
Like that's like, like economic power is what gives us power. We all know that.
The fans need to buy tickets and go, like go to random games. Like I've now when I want to go to a city or check out something, I'm like, what professional women's sports are in town?
I love
like
that.
they're all over.
That. Yeah.
I'm like, I'll go to an Orlando. Like my girlfriend wanted to go to Harry Potter World. I'm like, okay, can we go to an Orlando Pride game? And there's the Orlando Valkyries professional volleyball team, and I'm buying all these tickets, and she's like, girl, settle down. Yeah. So we did just go to the Orlando Pride one, but like there's like there's teams like all around. Bake that into your trip to Chicago. Go see the Chicago Red Stars. Go see the Chicago Sky. You know, like it's a fun way. Buy merch, you know. Those are the ways. Listen to the players' podcast.
Yeah.
Because you're learning about their stories, and then all of a sudden you like care about them. And then I hate to be biased, but women are just more interesting than men. They've had to overcome more.
Yep.
They're not given everything on a silver spoon. Yep. And the grind that they show, and oftentimes doing it like while also like after the joys of motherhood.
Yeah.
It's like kind of beautiful.
Monica, I can't thank you enough for being here. I learned a lot by preparing for this and just this conversation. And we'd love to have you back if there's any other like, you know, crazy shit happening. If people want to follow you and your musings, do you want to like plug anything?
I'm on Bluesky, but
okay.
Monsplainer. Montia. I think it's Montia, Bluesky, whatever.
Monsplainer is good.
Well, Monstradamus was already taken.
Seriously is presented by Lift Louisiana, a nonprofit organization advocating for reproductive health rights and justice.